Welcome to Influential Entrepreneurs, bringing you interviews with elite business leaders and experts, sharing tips and strategies for elevating your business to the next level. Here's your host, Mike Saunders.
Hello and welcome to this episode of Influential Entrepreneurs. This is Mike Saunders, the Authority Positioning Coach. Today we have with us David Monteith and Pam Pormentilla, who are co-founders of the company Great Work Online. Welcome to the program, guys.
Hi, Mike.
Welcome. Good morning. Thank you.
Hey, you're welcome. Hey, get us started with, tell us a little bit about the company, what your company does, Great Work Online.
So Great Work Online started in 2016, and we cater services for virtual assistants, project management. We do some website design, web development, social media management. We're huge in virtual assistants, so that's typically what we offer to our clients. Basically, from small to medium business owners, entrepreneurs. Do you work with a specific type of service or specialty within virtual assistants? Because I'm confident that it is way more broad than a lot of people would realize. People would probably think, oh, wow, I could outsource that task. But do you find that you're being asked for, like what you mentioned, social media, but within that realm, is there a specific type of service package that tends to be more beneficial to your clients? Actually, as of the moment, we don't really have any specific package for our clients. Clients would come to us and ask help for example, they have so many tasks on a day-to-day basis. They've got a lot of things going on their plate, and they would come to us and ask for help on how they can free up some of their time. And that's where we come in and, guide them and assess their pain points. And then eventually, after talking to the client and really giving them assessment, then we figure out, okay, this is what you need. You need a virtual assistant to help you with your email management. You need a virtual assistant to help you with your social media. If you don't have time doing some content research, doing posting to your Facebook account or Instagram or LinkedIn. So it's basically depending on what the client's needs are.
It makes me wonder if this is the case, and you guys have both probably seen this, but what would you say when you talk to someone that says, that sounds wonderful, I would like to free up my time, but I just don't know where to start in offloading tasks, because there's the balance between, I can just do that myself really quick. And it would take longer for me to explain how to do it than for me just to do it myself. But if you add those things up, those smaller tasks up, you only need to explain it or document it or shoot a quick demo video one time, and then for months and months and years, your time is freed up from that. So what do you say to someone that has that thought process?
I'll speak to that one, Mike.
Sure.
Go ahead, Pam. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, David.
All right. What you were just saying, Mike, is exactly what my own personal experience was. Pam and I had already started this business, and I didn't yet have my own virtual assistant. And I was very reluctant. I'm a solopreneur. I run a business, but it's just me. I do have a part-time physical assistant that helps me from time to time. And Pam recognized that I needed to offload some stuff. I was very reluctant to do it with what you had mentioned. I can do it so quickly, it'll take me way longer to teach somebody else. But once I put in the effort to do that, it freed up an amazing amount of time. And from that, it has grown where I'm like, well, this task was so easy to pass off to a virtual assistant. I can now pass off this task, and I can pass off this task. So often we will start with a client that has one specific thing perhaps that they want to offload, and it just grows from there as they see how easy it is to pass on tasks and how seamless it can become we end up doing, or the virtual assistant ends up doing more and more and more work for their client.
Yeah, that's a good point, because you can say, free up your time so you can focus on the more pressing needs. And it sounds great, but what does it actually look like? And I know that you can send a PDF document, or here's the link to my website, and look at all the tasks that virtual assistants can do. But until you see it in action, I think it doesn't come to life. So what I would say is, from the outside looking in, I would suspect that this would be a good exercise that someone could do to assess if this is a viable need in their business. What if you took a piece of paper and a pen, or an Excel file or a notepad file on your computer, and for the next 2 weeks, you just jotted down really quick what you did each and I don't want this to sound like, it's, every second of every day you're jotting down what you did, but what was this small task you did?
Right.
Hey, I updated my social media, or I sent this email to, and if you can document that, because I know I did this for a coaching, I was doing some coaching a few years ago, and someone had me do this, and it was eye-opening, because after a week to 2 weeks, and you can look back in these 30-minute, 1-hour increments and see, okay, I did this, and you know what, I'm the only one that could have done that one, because the intellectual information I needed to do this, but did I really need to be doing this one and this one and this one? And I think you could quickly identify 8 to 10 things that you could start off with offloading, and then maybe even dig in a little bit deeper and say, well, these next tasks, if I just showed someone, the 2 or 3 steps that I went through, I could easily offload those as well. Do you have any best practices that way for uncovering opportunities where you can help free up time for someone?
Well, usually when I do talk to a client, Mike, I would tell the client to list down all the things that they do hate every day of their life in their business.
Yeah.
And what are the things that they love to do? Because I believe that a business owner should focus on the higher level tasks or higher level projects of their business, instead of doing, repetitive tasks, like doing some data entry, or doing some content research, or doing some Facebook posting and all of that. But, sometimes, actually most of the time, what you need to do is you need to delegate your weaknesses, and then you need to focus on your strengths, because the virtual assistant could be doing the data entry stuff and the content research, for example, could be her strength, and that's not your strength. Your strength is to build strategy, to build your marketing strategy for your business, to find more clients, doing higher level projects.
That's a really good point. And, doing the things you hate, what is the thing that you like someone might say, well, I'm not really a procrastinator. I dive into my tasks, but what are the ones you kind of scoot to the next day and scoot to the next week because it's like, I don't get into that. But what are the ones that it lights you up and you could lose all track of time because you're doing this one? Well, those are the ones you keep. The ones you hate, put a mark by those and figure out how you can easily describe to a virtual assistant how to do that. Now, the other thing that I think would be an eye-opener for someone, an entrepreneur or a potential client for you, is if you said to them, what is your hourly rate? So what did you personally make last year, and how many hours did you work, accurately? Don't just say, oh, I worked this many hours, but really it was less or more. Do an accurate calculation and figure out, well, you know what? I'm really earning X number of dollars an hour, and it could be $50, $80, $100 an hour, and then compare that to what a virtual assistant hourly rate is, and you should see the fact that, I really shouldn't be doing this task when I could be, making quadruple or more by having the virtual assistant do it for much less.
Right.
Agreed.
So what do you guys find in the industry? Do you find that typically people in a specific vertical or industry niche are more open or needing of virtual assistants? Like, for instance, maybe someone in the legal industry, maybe they can't because you have to have, compliance training, or the medical. But is there a certain industry that you find is very, very helpful to consider a virtual assistant?
Actually, right now, we don't have any specific niche target. What I can say now is that most of the clients that we have are from David is into, he's a mortgage broker. So some of his colleagues, we handle their projects. So we do some help with their sales calling. We do some email management. Actually, there's no having a virtual assistant doesn't target any specific niche or industry in the market. Anyone, a small business owner, an entrepreneur who wants to free up their time and delegate their weaknesses, that's someone who needs to have a virtual assistant or a remote team.
Yeah, I can see that because a lot of the tasks that someone might identify, it doesn't matter whether you're in medical, legal, financial services, it wouldn't matter. So here's a question. I know that you are the only company in the universe that does this service. And you have no competitors, so really you're just not even looking for clients. No, just kidding. So because you need to figure out when people are hearing this, they need to think, okay, I've heard it enough times. I know I need to get a virtual assistant, at least give it a try for 6 months. What sets you apart from other virtual assistant companies? Because I think there's a lot of decisions that go into making a choice that way. What are the things that set you apart, and what are some mistakes that a entrepreneur might make when choosing a virtual assistant? They typically jump right in and don't realize that this is the case.
David, would you like to take on that?
Sure. Yeah, I can totally speak to this one. What really sets us apart from the majority of other virtual assistant organizations or ways of obtaining a virtual assistant is our personal service. We have a number of clients that have had VAs in the past or tried to have VAs in the past to have it not work out for them. And essentially, our advantage is that we take in potential virtual assistants. We interview them. We pre-screen them. If they meet our initial standards, we add them to our database. And as clients come on board and say, okay, these are the activities that I want to pass on to a VA, or this is where I need help, we can match them up with a VA that we've already vetted that has those skills and the abilities to do what that client needs. So the advantage to that is you can get in touch with us. We will select with you a VA that's going to be able to do the task, and we may pick 2 or 3 that you would interview and determine which one you want to move forward with, as opposed to a number of other services where you're going online and you're reading through resumes and profiles and trying to throw a dart at a dartboard, choose which one of these VAs is going to be a fit for you and your business.
Yeah, playing devil's advocate, and I'm not going to try to be confrontational, but what do you say to someone that would say, well, I would hope you would do that. I hope you would match me with someone that could meet my needs. Is there a level of workers that you guys filter and make sure that they have specific higher end skills, and maybe are there assessments? But in other words, what would someone be able to hang their hat on and say, okay, that right there sticks out to me? Because I know a lot of virtual assistant companies would just kind of fill up their list of potential workers with anyone that fills out a form, but these guys really vet the workers.
So what we do, Mike, is that we have a process and system in place already. This is the reason why I have some kind of like a discovery call with the client just to assess the client's needs and get all his requirements and qualifications he's looking for a virtual assistant. And once I have all the information from the client, we do the outsourcing. We do filter these candidates. We put them into a preliminary testing. So once the testing, of course, this is based from all the requirements and qualifications of the client. So once we do the preliminary testing, I or David will do the interview just to make sure that this particular candidate will fit or match the client's requirements. So we pick out 3 top candidates out of many resumes, candidates that we have. And then once we do filter and pick out the 3 top candidates, we send it out to the client for the client to review their resume. And then that's when the interview comes in, the interview between the client and the candidates. And once the client did the interview and he's still not happy with the outcome, he can do his own testing. Of course, this is going to be based on the task that he's going to delegate to the virtual assistant. So once the test is done, then he can, make the decision. And then after that, then there's the hiring, and we make sure that we are here, especially for clients who come to us that it's their first time to hire a virtual assistant because they want to build a remote team and all that. But if the client it's their first time, we make sure that we are there to guide them all throughout, to help them manage, to help them to ensure that we are here to guide in managing the virtual assistant. And if the virtual assistant gets stuck with whatever task they are on, I make sure that I am there and they know that they can always reach out to me. The good thing about this, Mike, is that I started as a virtual assistant. So I understand the virtual assistant's need and the client's expectations. So I kind of like do the one-on-one training with the virtual assistant because I've been working with clients, foreign clients, since 2009. So I know how the system works, and I kind of understand the client's wants and needs and expectations. So I think, starting as a virtual assistant way back in 2009 helped a lot.
Yeah, what you just said there makes me think your process is so much different than just here's this form, fill it out, check these boxes with what you need. Yeah. And we're off to the races, right? You filled our form out. Yay. No, you're taking the time to listen and learn and hear what the need are on both sides. And I think that's a really great point to bring up. So what would you recommend, or I guess let me ask you this question. What do you, I know you get excited when clients, are really, really pleased with your service. What typically, after a few months of service, do you hear from clients that maybe at first they were a little hesitant and they didn't know how beneficial it would be? But what are some of the things you're hearing back from clients now that they see the power of offloading some of those tasks?
Well, actually, I've been hearing good stuff from the clients that we have. They're like, just recently I had a new client. I onboarded a new client, and she's like, I feel so great talking to you because I feel like tons of load off my chest. Because, I talked to her, we kind of like really drill down on what are the things that she needs to delegate to a virtual assistant. And before there were clients that would come to me and tell me, hey, how can I assign this task to my VA? how do you think I can give a better instruction so that the VA will understand and all that? So basically, it's just reaching out to me and asking for help in guiding and managing the virtual assistant, and how happy they are to have free up their time. They are able to do higher level of tasks. We both know that I still do some project management stuff because I really love doing that. I don't think I'm going to give up doing that. And my client, we both know who that is. He was able to, I've heard some people would ask, how was he able to do all of the things that he's doing? He's out there in all of social media. He was able to do this and that and still be able to communicate with the client and deliver on time and all that. And I would say because he hired a project manager, that's why. So yeah, I think that's how our clients feel when we find them their good match, virtual assistant.
Yeah, that's a really good point for, like the beginning client of just offloading some tasks, but then there's the next level, which is scaling up your business and how to take your business to the next level. And by freeing up your time, you as the main person, CEO or head entrepreneur, you can go out and bring in new business, and then now you're able to handle it because you've got that infrastructure. So super good points. I love your story and the way that you guys do things differently. Any last thoughts, or what is the best way for someone listening to this interview to reach out and connect with you guys?
So just visit our website. It's www.greatworkonline.com. You will see our social media there. We've got Facebook, our business page. We share tons of good blogs there on, tips on how to manage a virtual assistant. If it is your first time, what are the tasks that you can delegate to a virtual assistant? So many stuff there that very informative that you can learn from. We also have Facebook groups. One is for small business and entrepreneurs, small business owners and entrepreneurs, where soon we're going to have some fun there. We're going to do some, poll and interaction there. And we also have a group specifically for online ninjas. We call our virtual assistants or project managers or online staff online ninjas. So we also have a group for them. We do exchange some ideas there, their struggles, their hopes, and their dreams and all that. So check us out, and we hope to see you there.
Awesome. Well, Pam and David, thank you so much for your time today. It was great getting to know you.
Thanks, Mike.
Yeah, thank you too, Mike.
You've been listening to Influential Entrepreneurs with Mike Saunders. To learn more about the resources mentioned on today's show or listen to past episodes, visit www.influentialentrepreneursradio.com.